You're not selfish for saying no. You're strategic. In part 2 of this series, we're talking about boundaries, what they really are, why people pleasers avoid them, and how to finally set them without spiraling into guilt. You'll learn why boundaries fail, especially when you're used to being the yes person, simple phrases to say no without sounding defensive or over-explaining, and how to use your calendar as a boundary and actually stick to it. Let's break this down. Welcome to Ditch the Chaos, a snackable podcast for busy Type A women ready to break free from burnout, toss the old productivity rules, and make their own. No fluff, no overwhelm, just real talk and actionable strategies. I'm Kara Chase, entrepreneur since 2015, mom of 2, wife to 1, and I am unapologetically caffeinated. Let's dive in. In the last episode, we talked about how time gets hijacked when you say yes to everything, and how doing a simple time audit can show you what's really draining your energy. Today, we're building on that with the next layer, boundaries. Because if you don't set your own limits, everyone else will set them for you. Let's talk about why boundaries feel so hard. If you're a people pleaser, saying no can feel like a betrayal, like you're letting someone down. But here's the reality. Saying yes to everything is letting someone down. You. Boundaries get a bad rap because they sound harsh, like you're closing a door or being self-absorbed. But they're not walls, they're filters. They help you decide what's allowed in and what's not. You're not being rude, you're being responsible. And most of the time, the person making you feel guilty about setting a boundary is you. You've internalized the idea that being helpful equals being valuable. And here's where ego sneaks in. If you're honest, part of the reason you say yes is because you like being the go-to. You like being seen as capable, reliable, and the one who can do it all. Letting go of that identity, even a little, can feel like losing your edge. But here's the real edge: protecting your energy so you're not running on fumes 24/7. When your ego is wrapped up in being everything to everyone, boundaries feel like failure. But they're not. They're an upgrade. When you start saying no more often, your brain might kick in with, they'll be mad, or they won't ask me again, or I'm being difficult. Am I being difficult? And here's what you need to know. Boundaries don't make you less valuable. They make you honest about what's sustainable. You're not the glue that holds everything together. You're a person with limits, and pretending otherwise isn't noble. It's a shortcut to resentment. When you let go of the ego that comes from being the fixer, you'll create space to actually function. That's what makes boundaries powerful, not because they make you rigid, because they make you clear and calm. People who care about you won't punish you for having limits, and the ones who do, well, that's not your problem. That's certainly information. Which brings us to the real breakdown you might be having when you try to set boundaries. You're over-explaining. Over-explaining is what people pleasers do to soften the no. You give a long backstory, pile on justifications, or rattle off all the reasons you wish you could help just to avoid feeling guilty or being misunderstood. You're seeking permission. It might sound like, I really would, but things are just so crazy right now, and on and on. Or I hate to say no, but I've just been so swamped lately, and on and on. Or, I'm so sorry, there's just a lot going on with the kids and work and this and that, and on and on. The thing is, over-explaining is just another way of asking for permission to have boundaries, and you don't need permission. If you need a boundary script, start with this. I'd love to help, but I can't commit right now. Or, thanks for thinking of me, but I need to focus on whatever your priority is. Or, that sounds great, but I'm going to have to pass this time. Short, clear, no essays, no fake excuses, no on and on. No, I'm sorry, but spirals. You don't need to justify your boundary to make it valid. You're allowed to have limits because you're human, not because your calendar is full enough to earn those boundaries. Let's talk about boundary rehearsal. It might sound silly, but if saying no makes your palms sweat, practicing in low-stakes situations really can help. Try saying no to the group chat hangout, or turn down the extra task at work that isn't yours, or skip the weekend event you don't actually want to attend. You're not failing anyone. You're learning how to protect your time and energy without apology. And the more you practice in small ways, the easier it gets when the stakes are higher. You build boundary muscles, and those are way more useful than any productivity hack you're going to find out there. Next, let's get tactical with calendar boundaries. If your calendar is in chaos, probably because of your lack of boundaries, you might not realize it can be the best tool you have. If you block your non-negotiables first, you create a visual, structural proof of your real availability. And seeing that in front of your face, how much time you don't have, is clarifying and sometimes shocking. Those non-negotiables are things like kid drop-off and pickups, sleep, meals, exercise, deep work blocks, actual downtime. Yes, that belongs on your calendar too. You're not just fitting in self-care in between the cracks. You're planning your time like it matters because it does. And when someone asks if you're free, your answer isn't going to be, well, technically yes, but it's that time's already booked, or I'm not available at that time. Boundaries won't always be loved by other people. If you've trained people to expect 24/7 availability, they won't celebrate when that changes. So expect some pushback. Your job isn't to fix their feelings about your boundaries, it's to hold them. So try this. I understand this is a change, but it's what I need right now. Or, thanks for understanding, that means a lot. That's it. No debate, no defense, no permission. Here's your reset and reclaim action step for the week. Practice saying no just once. Start with something low pressure. Say no to a favor or a meeting or a coffee date or an ask that you normally say yes to out of guilt. Try using one of the no rambling scripts in this episode and don't explain yourself. Then watch what happens. The world won't fall apart. You won't be hated. You'll survive, and you'll feel stronger because of it. In part 3 of this series, we're going to design a planning system that flexes with your real life, one you actually stick with, and you won't want to miss it. Thanks for tuning in. If this episode helped you, subscribe so you never miss an update and share it with another woman who needs to hear it. For more resources, show notes, and my Chaos Detox course, visit karachase.com. Until next time, I'm Kara Chase, reminding you to keep questioning the rules and making your own.